Hi, it's William and welcome to my channel. So sometimes when you make an app, and this app have some core, maybe it's network core, maybe it's loading, maybe it's like calculating, maybe it's connected to AI's API, and you are going to call this, like send a signal to that backend or to the cloud, or maybe some calculations going on, and you want user to wait 50 seconds maybe, but you don't actually want the user to say, hey, I'm done waiting, okay, this is just too slow, I'm going to exit it. You don't want that. So what are you gonna do? You have to sort of give the user a hint that hey, something going on here, and you have to wait a little bit. Okay, so here comes to the loading or progress bar that can indicate. I think I already make a similar project like this, so you can check it out. And right now I'm going to do this from scratch. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to it. I'm going to name this user waiting user waiting hint. Okay, so basically you're going to hint user that hey, we're processing something and you are waiting. So that's next, and we have get our project, new tutorial. Yeah, let's just add a new 16, and I'm going to say user wait hint. Create our project. So yeah, already got our project created, and let's do something. Okay, let me just move it to here. Okay, let's get to it. So first we need something to store the information of whether the user is waiting or not. Okay, I'm going to add a state and say the private var is user waiting. Okay, we're going to make a boolean, and normally it will be false, so it's not waiting. And if it's waiting, we can to trigger maybe some animation. So vstack, let's just some text. Okay, hello world, and yeah, if I can say yeah, if it is loading and waiting, we're going to show something. Okay, let's add something. Let me just add some example text. I think that's I should do. So hello, this is William James app. Okay, something like that. Okay, and let me make it bolder, but make the font a title. Can I make a title? That's pretty good. And I want a background color. Right now it's too generic, so here is a trick for you. So you can wrap everything inside of a Z stack. Okay, wrap everything inside of the Z stack, and yeah, they're here. And we can add, since it's a like Z stack, the thing that you appear like the utmost should be below the most. So you can have a background color. So you can have a color, and you have a generic color of I love the color cyan, and you can have a ignore. How to spell ignore. Save areas. That way you will like cover everything. Hopefully, finger crossed. And why is it? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think I should delete the padding here. There'll be no padding. So yeah, they'll get a generic background color. And this is within James app. And let me add a trigger so I can simulate whether you like submit something or whether you calculate something, and it would serve as a trigger. So I'm going to write a button here, and it's a vertical stack. So a button and a string, say submit, okay, like submit something, and we can have a trailing of if, okay, if is user waiting, okay, is user waiting or is user not waiting. If user is waiting, then I'm going to trigger everything. And other one is user waiting. So if it is waiting, first I'm going to make it, if it's waiting true, okay, we're going to make it false. Okay, yeah, this might be a little bit tricky. Is user waiting? False. So first I'm going to make it false, okay, and else we're going to, so if it's waiting, we're going to make it not waiting. Else I'm going to trigger a start some like calculation or some call, start something. Okay, I'm going to just start something pretty generic. Maybe some AI model, maybe some calculation. Doesn't really matter at this point. So start something. Definitely, right now can't find it because we haven't written this function yet. And then we can have a let's add some padding, and let's have some background color. I think background color white is pretty good, and we can have a foreground color. Right now it's called foreground star. Yeah, good. I'm going to have a red, and then I can have a corner radius. CG float of 10. And why it's not changing? Oh, because it can't find it. So I have to solve this problem, and then we can let's just get outside. Okay, maybe here is a good place to place this function, and it's just get an empty. I think this should give us a good, yeah, good. So we can get a button here. Maybe not red, maybe cyan as well. So you can get a uniformed color. That's pretty good. Also, this font can have a bold padding. Can I have a color scheme, color white. Yeah, let's just leave it here because yeah, this is a title. I wanted the title to be different. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, let's deal with the start something because I want the logic to work, and then add all this fancy detail. Okay, I'm going to add a view here. So if our is user waiting, okay, is user waiting. If it's waiting, I'm going to load a new view, like loading view here, and then maybe I'm going to give a hint, maybe down below, saying it's still loading. That's where all the animation goes. You can use generic animation, but I will do some customization just to make it look a little bit nicer. Yeah, so loading view, still we need to write that as well. So let's start with something, okay? So if you start something, we're going to make it is user waiting true, because you actually start something, so user's waiting, okay? And then if the user's waiting, then it's false, so switch it off, just to, like a trigger it, like a call it once. And then let's add some, like, just few seconds, okay? I'm going to use a async dispatch queen, and I'm going to add a main dot async after a deadline. Deadline will be a now, okay? And execute just now plus say 5 seconds. After that, we're going to make the is user waiting false. So I think it's a little bit redundant. Okay, so if you submit the user, yeah, this can solve the, like, if you continue to click, it can solve this problem, and you can manually trigger. Yeah, let me just leave it here and modify that later. So is user waiting becomes false, and then we haven't write the loading view yet. Yeah, let's finish this loading view. Basically, all the animation happens here. It's a SwiftUI, so I'm going to use a struct and using a view for this. And instead of hello world, I'm going to state variable, because I want tracking whether there's an animation or not. So state private var is animating using a boolean, and normally I should make it false, okay? And let our number of balls, let me start with the integer, okay? I'll make it integer, make it 5, okay? Maybe I will make it more. Right now, let's just 5. I think already pretty much. Horizontal stack, so edge stack. I want to have a spacing, because I don't want all this ball stacked together, because I want it to become bigger as well as smaller. So I will add a spacing here, and that spacing become 10 maybe. And edge stack inside, I can for each a loop, start from 0 all the way to a number of balls, so I can change it later, okay? And I can have ID just to make it self. I think that should do /self. Yeah, and for every index index will be an integer, okay? Index integer, just specify, just make it clear. We can use the generic circle for it. Of course, you can make it square and round it. Doesn't really matter. I think circle is a more generic one. Of course, we will play around with this later. As long as we get this whole animation as well, the functionality working, we can have a field of specific color. And I'm going to just make it white, because right now it's cyan as white, so that'd be pretty good. And I want it to scale. So there is a nice smooth transition here. Before we made a scale, I tend to put it inside a frame, so I can control it. Let me just use width and height of 20. Of say 20, and I can add a scale effect, and according to is animating or not, It's animating according to that. You can make it bigger or you can make it smaller, and you can add the animation here. Animation, I want a default animation of ease in and ease out. So animation dot is in and out, and have a duration of a time interval, maybe 0.6, 0.5, doesn't really matter, and you can repeat it forever. You have a delay with a certain delay. I'm going to use a index double, and maybe multiply a factor. I think maybe multiply 0.1. That's a good one. Let's multiply 0.1. We can adjust all that later. Doesn't really matter. And then we can have the value of is animating. Okay, and yeah, exit it. Then you can have a all this padding just to make it look nicer. Padding and maybe background. I can have a background color, right? Background color, and make it black and a little bit transparent, 0.2 maybe, and we can have a quarter radius of say 20, and we can have dot on appear. On appear, then we can say is animating, make it true. Okay, so index. Okay, they've got like a multiple for index in, not integer. Yeah, index in, and then we got circle. Yeah, that should do. Let's try this. Let's try this. See whether I can run this or not. Refresh it in case you got some syntax error. Fixed this by self index. Yeah, I should int in and then circle. Okay, and let's run this. Hello, this is really Japanese app, and you can submit, and got animation here, and we can scale it. This is a 5 ball like pumping, and after 5 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can have a pop up say successful, something like that. So user know that is submitting, is something going on. I think the background color, we can get rid of this. We don't need this background color, so just a nice like 5 balls here. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty nice. You don't need a background, and it's animating. I think the frame, we can make it bigger. We can make it a ball like 10, make it more, and the ball, we can make the scale effect a little bit nicer, so 0.2 and 40, just to make it bigger. And let's try this. Of course, you can fine tune it, doesn't really matter at this point because we already achieved the functionality. So submit. Yeah, looks pretty nice. Maybe the maybe there's a bit too much. Maybe just to leave it 5. Yeah. Of course, you can make it like a float above it. Okay. Yeah, I think that's already pretty good. Yeah, that's by the way how to make the customized button as well as the loading animation. I think it's just to make your app look so much nicer if you just change it a little bit rather than use this default loading or progress bar, because I think maybe it's about the psychology here. If user see some like generic loading, they will think there's something wrong with your app or with the system, and it will think your app is pretty laggy. So if you just make a smooth animation, then the user will think that, hey, it's submitting something. Okay, just to wait, and the whole app is pretty smooth and the user experience go up. Okay, yeah, and if you want to download the code, you can join the Patreon. You can use it even commercially, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, if you haven't already, please give me this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Okay, thanks, bye.